Give us a thumbs up when you're ready. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 3 of Citizens for Recovery podcast. My name is young leader Blake Henderson. Joining me, as always, is my co-host Tanya Davis. Tanya, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Also, our partners for the Citizens for Recovery podcast, Talking Cities extraordinaire podcast and producer Matt McAday. How are you, Matt?
Oh, mate, as I said last week, whenever you get to do something with Blake Henderson, you jump at it. So I'm flying. It's fantastic. How are you, mate?
I'm pretty good, mate. Still struggling with stage 4 lockdown, but we'll all get through it as we welcome our very special guest today, a great friend of mine at the club, all the way from Maitland at the moment, inside the hub. It's Richard Windbichler. How are you, mate?
Hi, Blake. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Before we get into it, how's the hub? How are you enjoying it up there?
Actually, me personally, I enjoy it very much because compared to sitting alone in my apartment in Melbourne in stage 4 lockdown, it's actually pretty good. We have a nice resort, we have good food, we can train in peace, and luckily we can also continue the season, which is much fun lately.
Yeah, especially with the game against Sydney FC. We'll go into your football in a moment's time, but the reason why we're here, Citizens for Recovery, I know you're an avid fan of the city and community programs, especially I Speak Football Carlton. Talk to us about your time with City and the community.
Yes, exactly. If I go back to the moment that I signed for Melbourne City, also a reason why I did it was because there's no such club that takes so much care about their community and always have some good projects going on to help others. And so I was very pleased to be able to join one of the programs, I Speak Football in Carlton, which helps those young kids, to get into football and speak this one communal language, which is basically called football.
Well, yeah, and I heard the other night through an interview that you did with the young leaders that you got sent out to Carlton, and once you saw Carlton, you kept coming back on your own. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. That's true because when I see the kids there, how much enthusiasm they have and how much they enjoy what you built there, then it's only a pleasure for me to join week in, week out. And I hope that when the world goes back to normal, we continue like that.
Exactly, indeed. And with this, just to let you guys know, Richard has actually personally donated to the Citizens for Recovery for the recovery. So again, on behalf of the citizens, thank you very much for that. Also, I have fortunately been lucky enough to actually have my name on the back of Richard's training top 2 nights ago. So Richard, we've known each other since you joined the club. How did that feel when you saw my name there?
Yeah, like I told you before we went live, you're the only Blake I know. I wasn't sure that it was you, but now I do know. So I feel a little proud carrying your name on my back.
Oh,
thanks, mate. Okay, so I've asked a few questions here, so I'm going to invite Matt and Tanya in to ask some questions. So, guys.
Yeah. Okay, well, speaking of kids before, so Mike wanted to know, growing up, what team and players did you like the most?
When I was little, I was a big fan of Steven Gerrard and therefore also a fan of Liverpool FC. Once I grow older, I just enjoy watching football and not be too big a fan of any team in particular. I just enjoy the beauty of the game.
So that flashback of you as a kid in a Bayern Munich shirt, you weren't really a Bayern fan then?
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true. Bayern Munich comes in second position. On my back was Claudio Pizarro, in case anyone remembers him.
Okay, what has been your favourite pitch to play on and why? Anywhere in the world? That was asked by Luke.
Because
you've been all over the place.
Yeah, I would say I have 2. One is actually Amy Park because I had a great experience in the Champions League when I was in Ulsan. We played here against Victory, and I really enjoyed playing at Amy Park because it's very narrow. Everything is closed and shut down, so the noise stays in the stadium on the ground. And we had a great game, and also enjoyed the days before the game. I enjoyed Melbourne, so it was it's good now to call it my home stadium, my home ground. And and before that, in Ulsan, they built a brand new World Cup stadium in 2002, and I also had a really great, successful time in Ulsan, and I would say Amy Park and Munso Stadium in Ulsan are my two favorites.
So with you saying you enjoyed playing at Amy Park, is that because you scored against the Victory with your team? I was actually there. So is that the reason why you enjoyed playing at Amy Park?
Well, what better can happen than score against Melbourne Victory, not?
Exactly. Just to let you know, Richard, I was actually there with a few of my Victory mates because they had a
No, you weren't. Really?
And I was cheering for your team, so
yeah,
I was like,
of course.
So I'm glad you're now in our team. If Matt wants to jump in here as well, you can go for it.
Yeah, I kind of want to go down a different path for you, Richard, because I'm curious. We saw coming out of ISO, we had a lot of different haircuts, quite a few good beards come out, and unfortunately yours disappeared before the first game. Was that a directive from Eric, or was it just you weren't feeling the caveman lifestyle?
You said unfortunately. You liked it or what?
Oh, I frocked it. Yeah, I thought it was good, mate. I thought you had the best beard in the club.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, maybe I can grow it back.
I think you should, and just let Josh Brillante know that he's not the alpha male. I think you've got to take that claim. Obviously, this season, on a footballing sense, has been a pretty hard one for yourself, with injuries kind of ruining a fair portion of it. How did you find the strength mentally to be able to keep training and know that your chance will come again? Like, is there any tips you would give to any youngsters coming through who maybe are battling injuries?
I guess it was Winston Churchill who once said, if you're going through hell, keep going. And hard times are part of life, but there's a beauty to it, because once you go through it and you get out on the other side, it's probably one of the most satisfying feelings. And to be honest, after the FC Sydney game, we won 2-0, clean sheet, my first game back, I'm healthy. I mean, now I couldn't feel any better, so no reason to go back to what have happened in the past, because fact is you can change it. It was a process. It helped me a lot to understand when things don't go my way, how to handle it, and I just benefited, and it will help me in the future.
So how with you coming back from the injury, as you said, you enjoyed your time there, and you actually answered one of the questions I was going to ask on behalf of a fan. But how do you compare Korea football to A-League?
Overall, I can only repeat myself. I get asked this question a lot.
Yeah.
Overall, it's not that big a difference. Maybe, for example, the salary cap doesn't allow Australian teams to have big squads, like 20 players who are on a top level. So maybe that's the difference why in ACL, for example, year after year, the Asian teams go further. But on the pitch, especially since I joined Melbourne City, I'm really looking forward. I hope that we will qualify for Champions League. And then, I hope we will smash those Asian teams and show that in Australia they do very, very good work in Australia.
And how do you find the weather? You started playing off in the summer and now we're into our winter. How do you find the weather compared to everywhere else you've been?
The summers in Korea are as well pretty hot. So as a football player, I think everybody prefers to play with 15, 20 degrees, not too hot, but it's part of the game. And I think if you train week in, week out, in the same conditions, your body adapts and gets used to it. And once you get the first 2-3 games in the heat over with, you're used to it, and it's not that big a deal anymore.
And you, Matt?
Yeah, just to quickly touch on something you just mentioned. So with the Champions League qualification wrapped up, because I think from memory, if I'm not mistaken, which would be very embarrassing, Wellington's the only team who can pass us, and they can't qualify for Asia. So with the ACL wrapped up, or that position wrapped up, how do you feel this squad is ready to go at that level? Do you think it's going to be a bit of a shock to the system? We've seen some other A-League clubs get to Asia and start to struggle. Do you think it's something that our squad is ready for?
Yes, it's a question I can't answer why A-League teams struggle in Champions League. But if I look at our squad and ahead to next year, I'm really pumped to go into Champions League and, like I said before, prove that Australia does a great job and we are a great football team, and we have to, what's the word? Yeah, we are representing City Group, and I know for a fact that the long-term or middle-long-term goal of the City Group is to take over also in Champions League, and win titles. So we are on the best way to get there. Not there yet, but like I said, really looking forward to compete and make the best of it.
Yeah, I think that's something that us fans have been so longing for, to finally see our team compete at the level where we've always believed it should. And Asia is the next step, and that's where we need to go and do well. And as long as our kit numbers don't fall off the back, we're already a step ahead of Brisbane. So that's always going to be a good start for the club. And it's definitely something that's exciting. In terms of the game from Tuesday night against Adelaide United, obviously a disappointing probably 30 minutes after Craig Noon's pretty questionable, I think is the nice way to word it, red card. How was that as a squad to, what was kind of going through your head when you saw that red card and knowing that Adelaide was going to throw everything at us?
First of all, I think until to the red card, we had everything under control. We don't necessarily need to have ball possession to control the opponent, which we did. We barely give them any chances. And then that was a turning point in the game. Also, Adelaide knew if they don't get 3 points tonight, they're out. So they played various offensive kick long balls in the box, and that makes it hard to defend against physical, strong team. Nonetheless, I think what we have to take out from this game is the first 60 minutes where we can say we dominated them. We played our game. We repeated our great performance from Sydney. And yes, the score is unfortunate, but the good thing is we can prove again against Western already next week that we learn from our mistakes and probably not let red card happen that easy. That can cost us the game, but is how it is, and we're still in a very good position.
And looking ahead to the game against Western United, are you looking forward to taking on Besart Berisha again?
Yes, I really enjoy playing against Berisha. Offside the pitch, we are friends, but on the pitch, it's always great battling against him because I think we share the same values on the pitch. It's a good fight, give everything for the team, and really looking forward to it.
I believe during that game at Amy Park where you scored, I believe you had Berisha in your back pocket the whole night. So was he still there when you got back to Korea?
Yeah. When we played with Ulsan against Melbourne Victory, we played actually against Berisha, and this was my first encounter with him. And I think in this game, I never hated an opponent so much as I did Berisha. But he approached me after the game, and since then we became very good friends.
Tina, I believe you got some more questions.
Yeah. Well, in that case, Sarah wants to know what's your favorite thing about living in Melbourne?
I would probably say the people themselves, that people in Melbourne are very outgoing. They enjoy nice brunch, after work drinks and restaurants, good dinner. So that's what I am as well. I like to go out, meet people, and that's probably the thing that I try the most.
Nice. Well, another non-football question. Peter wanted to know what's your favorite food?
Wiener Schnitzel, probably Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah.
And,
We had a few people wanting to ask about your love of schnitzels.
sorry?
We had a few people wanting to ask about your love of schnitzels. Care to tell us about it, why you love schnitzel?
Yes. When I was younger, every Sunday there was a family gathering at my grandma's house, and she cooked schnitzel for the whole family. And on this point, I want to give a shout out to our cook, Petros,
Oh.
for making the best schnitzel in Australia.
It was him who wanted to ask the question.
Also,
and then I guess, like,
sorry,
you go.
Yeah, before you go on there, we did have one question about the Austrian club around the corner from the CFG, so I'll ask you here: how is their schnitzel compared to Pedrox's?
You know, I was at the Austrian club, but unfortunately, when I was there were not many Austrians. So I didn't have a schnitzel there, but nonetheless, Petros.
Oh,
He will be telling me about that for the rest of his life because I'm good friends with Pedro. So sorry about that, Pedro.
it's okay. And then Mike wanted to know, what other sports do you like besides football?
I really do love ice hockey. I follow the NHL in America, Canada every day. And right now they are back with the playoffs. So all my spare time, I watch hockey.
Who's your team?
Yeah, who's your team?
My team is Montreal Canadiens.
Ooh.
Fair enough. Matt, do you have an ice hockey team?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Matt, do you have an ice hockey team?
No, I'm actually in the process of getting some equipment so I can try and learn to play, though, because I played field hockey my whole life and always wanted to try ice hockey. So, my friends convinced me to get some equipment so I can try and join the beer league in a couple of, once lockdown's over. So I don't have a team yet, but I'm open to being persuaded to choose a team.
Montreal
if you've
Canadiens.
if
Yeah, I
you've got
don't have a
something on
team
offer to make me a
either.
fan, I wouldn't say no.
We're all going to go from Montreal. It's all, we're making a pact now. Hands in. We're doing it.
Is there a Minnesota team by any chance?
Yeah, there is, but they suck.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that in because I know Matty Benici will be angry if anyone chooses anything other than Minnesota. So if they suck, that makes it even funnier.
Shout out to Matty Benici as well, mate. I hope you're well too. Tanya, any more questions we got there?
Yeah, there's actually one from this lovely little boy, Davey. He wanted to know who your spirit animal was.
Can you explain to me what's a spirit animal?
So a spirit animal is basically like your favorite kind of animal that you would love to
like
have.
Who do you
as a
invoke?
pet.
What animal spirit do you invoke? You know, what I like to say that I'm like a tiger. Wow. I don't know. I've always been like a tiger person.
You know, that's a good question. I have never asked myself.
Oh, here we go.
Might have to pull out the Jeopardy music here.
What about you, Blake? Who's your spirit animal?
Well, I actually got told mine was a bear because I don't know why. They just said you got the bear spirit animal in you. And all right, fair enough. Is it because I'm hairy in the chest? And I go, no, not because of that. But Matt, what about you? Do you know?
I think a tadpole.
What? You were going to evolve into a frog?
Oh, I think that might be part of it. I'm not too sure. I've never had to think about it.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. All right, Richard, who are you?
Well, now I would say eventually a German Shepherd.
Oh, Inspector Rex.
You know, my grandparents had a German Shepherd, and on the one hand, he was protecting the family, and on the other hand, he was a cute dog. So maybe a good mix.
No, German Shepherds are great. Like because I used to do German in school. So when the teacher, I swear to God, couldn't be bothered actually teaching a lesson, all we would do is watch Inspector Rex, which is like a detective job. And I still watch it. Like sometimes I think in my mind, I'm just going to put Commissar Rex on. Like I'm just going to do this. I don't know why. Great show.
Yeah. Actually, from this show, my love for German Shepherd comes from, I think.
Yeah.
Amazing, you know.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Not too well.
The
ham and cheese rolls. I love a ham and cheese roll.
We are currently live on the Talking City Facebook and YouTube page. Matt, do we have any questions from people watching at the moment?
I've had one come in via DM just to be on brand, because we did ask Craig Noon this last week. So, Richard, would you rather fight one Jamo-sized spider or 1,000 spider-sized Jamos?
1,000. What?
So, so one spider that is the same size as Scott Jamieson, or
Yeah.
1,000 spider-sized Scott Jamiesons?
Yeah, definitely the second one.
Why is
But
that?
why?
Well, I don't know. I can jump on the table and they can reach me, no?
But the
Way to
thing
look
is,
at
that if it's Gemma, he'll find
It's
a way
better
to
than
get
Matt's
up there.
answer last week, where he just wanted to step on them.
Well, if you're going to fight something and it's this big, would you not just step on as many as you can at once?
Yeah. I mean, I go on the table to jump on them, so.
bit of a curse stop from the top rope off the table, so but that's a good idea. Richard, again, with your city and community work, is there anything you want to say to the people out there before we go to more questions?
Yes, one thing is on my mind. I just want to say a big thank you to you, Blakey, Tanya, to all the young leaders out there, because obviously everybody's affected by the virus, and probably you have your personal issues as well. But the thing you do is you turn right around and you ask, who needs my help? And I think this is so impressive. You are very big role models. Please keep doing what you do. And I hope that we can work together for the next year as well.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. That's a
Thank you,
nice
Richard.
message.
With that, I am going to ask you, what it was your nickname as a child? Did you have a nickname?
Rich? I don't know.
I think the boys at Talking City have come up with Windy for you.
Yeah, we stuck with Windy from when you first signed, because the name looked very hard to pronounce on paper, and then we finally got the hang of it. So we toss it up a little bit. But
It's
I
your
personally
Aussie
like
name.
Windy.
Fair enough, fair enough. You know what? In Korea, they called me Richard for 2 years. I don't even think they know my second name.
So how was it over in Korea? Did you have trouble with communication with the players, or how?
No,
how'd you
it's
find
just,
out?
it's, you know what? It's unbelievable how our skill to adapt to situations is unbelievable as humans. It takes maybe 1 month, 6 weeks to understand what's going on, to figure out the ways to communicate. And I was once sitting in a car with one player for 2 hours. His English is a vocabulary maybe of 50 words, but still we managed to talk 2 hours straight. So it's not that big a barrier, the language, once you figure out the people and how, you know, everything works.
And I know the answer to this because I've asked you multiple times for other people, but I think we'll get it so the fans actually know now. The number 40, you signed to the club and you've chosen the number 40. This is a great story. You want to tell people why you picked it?
Yeah, it's easy. When I came to Korea, the first team and the second team are listed as one, which means we were 35 players. And when we have 35 players, there are not many numbers on the table. So instead of going, I don't know, with 23 or 16, I thought, yeah, 40 looks good. I go with 40, and then I had 2 fantastic years, and there was no reason for me to choose another number when I came to Melbourne.
So when you did come to Melbourne and I actually saw you pick the number 40, I thought back to that night you scored at AB Park against the Victory.
Yeah.
I thought that was the reason why. So it was like, I scored here in the number 40. I've got to stick with the number.
Yeah, also plays a role, of course.
Okay. So, Richard, how's the boys feeling coming up to the Western United game?
Yeah, the day after the game against Adelaide, there was a little bit of disappointment in the room, but the coaching staff made clear to us there's no need for any disappointment because we did well. And then we are still in a very good position on the table. Obviously, we'll watch tonight together the Wellington game, and then we will see how we take on Western. Also, they have many
They've got
games
to.
Western, and after our game, they have the playoffs game. So yeah, it's still some time. Let's figure out the game plan, and I'm sure we will finish the regular season with a positive result, and then we attack. We go for gold.
Tanya and Matt, do you have any final questions for Richie before we let him go?
I actually don't. That's done.
Okay.
I'm done. My questions are done.
Yeah, I've got a couple quick ones for you because I know that Pav and I have played a little bit of this, and I know it's very popular amongst some of the younger guys. Have you got around any Warzone during the ISO period with the younger guys playing a bit of PlayStation, or are you have you got something else to entertain yourself?
Yeah, see, the problem is I do play PlayStation, but I play NHL, and nobody has ever heard probably of NHL. So I'm by myself.
Are you on the newest NHL currently, or are you still on a couple seasons ago?
Yes, so somebody's listening and playing NHL online, give me a shout.
We'll find you some friends to play with.
It's not a bad game, and I think it'll be pretty cheap if you want to check it out and get to play with Windy. I've just got a question come in from the YouTube stream. Clint Newton would like to know what you think of the finals series in the A-League.
That's a very good question, actually. You know what? The fact that I'm a fan from the system in America and Canada when it comes to sports, they are known for their playoffs. And in Europe, there's no such thing as it is there or here. So coming in is a nice experience for me. And I actually have to admit, I like it. And I think it gives much more excitement to the fans, especially, and to journalists and to whoever, because as this season showed us that Sydney won the league 10 rounds before the regular season, basically. And in that case, all excitement would have gone. But now with the playoff system, full on, anything can happen. And I personally, I'm a fan of the playoff system.
So just to follow up on that, do you hold the Premier's Plate or the Grand Final as the higher prize? Like, what one to you holds more meaning?
I think there's more truth to winning the regular season. There's more honesty, I would say. They are the best team, but through this scheduling, the grand final is the grand final. So if I can have to choose between the two, I go for the grand final 7 days a week.
You obviously have seen the grand final trophy at the end. What do you think of our A-League grand final trophy? The championship, as we call it. Have you seen it before?
Actually, no. I think no.
Oh, you haven't. So you'll be in for a little surprise once you be able
Big round one.
Yeah, some people call it the golden dummy toilet, but
the toilet seat.
Yeah, the toilet seat, but
it's our toilet seat. It's a good toilet seat.
It is indeed. So if you have a look up on Google and search it up, mate, you'll be able to see it there. But that has come to the end with our time with Richard. Unfortunately, he has to go off and watch the Wellington game, and hopefully they lose to the Newcastle Jets and we can secure a second spot tonight.
Yes.
But Richard, always great talking to you, mate. And,
pleasure is all mine. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Yeah, so good to see you.
Do you have anything to say before we let you go to the fans?
Yes, hard times, obviously, and everybody has to do some sacrifices. So do we. And we came here for one thing and one thing only, and this is to bring, a title back home to City. And thank you very much for your support. And also, I can only ask you to support our communities, such as the Citizens, giving the young leaders. They're doing a great job. And, 3 weeks more to go, and hope we will have something to celebrate then.
Exactly. Inspirational words there from Richard Windbichler. Mate, we hope to see. I hope to see you back in Melbourne when we're allowed back out and about. So, Richard, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, too, guys. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Bye.
As Richard leaves us there, guys, just again to promote, the link will be in the YouTube bio and description to donate to the Citizens for Recovery. Also, the auction items have been ended. So
Mhm.
there's no more auctions. Tanya, do we have an update on your little raffle? How's that
Okay, yeah.
going?
So my Manchester City Supporter Club raffle ends on the 20th. So there is still time to go in and buy some raffle tickets. It's all online. It's in US dollars, just so anyone around the world can participate. So it starts at $10 US, about $14 Australian for 20 entries. So you can go in the chance to win either a signed Melbourne City kit, which is the whole squad, or a signed Gabriel Jesus kit. So you've got one of two prizes. And it's in my Instagram bio.
Yeah, so if follow at Tanya Davies on Instagram, you'll be able to find it there. Also, Richard Costello 91. He's also got the link in there as well. So go give him a follow as well and support. Also, go and follow the Talking City Boys on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Matt, Talking City Boys, how did they feel about the game?
Yeah, look, it was obviously a disappointing final 30 minutes really of a game we dominated. It's always disappointing for us to drop 3 points. Like I think drop 2 points. I don't think anyone can look at it any other way. But look, it's hard to be like, you're not upset with the players in that situation because you don't want to call a ref out for being bad, but you've got to question a fair few of his decisions towards the end of the game. Like I think the Craig Noon red card is more questionable than any decision he made all night. But to also to allow the game to continue for an extra 30 seconds for corners, but not to allow a player who's in on goal with no defender or no goalkeeper to beat the same leeway is a bit ridiculous. So, I think there's questions that's got to be asked there. And to be honest, it was disappointing that he's one of the full timers, and he's normally a very good ref. I know he doesn't have anything against City per se, so I'm not trying to say that, but that's a pretty horrible taste in your mouth when you got Jamie McLaren in on goal and he blows time like that.
Well, after the game, Fox Sports interviewed Jamie McLaren and they asked him about that. And Jamie said, I got told when I was running away by the referee that I had 30 seconds.
Yeah, and you look at the foul count and the yellow card count, it just doesn't line up. And, that's disappointing. I think it's something that leaves a real sour taste in your mouth throughout the game. Like, take nothing away from Adelaide. They took their chances well. They played well for that final 25 minutes and they earned their 2 points. But, playing with 10, you could see how much that changed a team. And, unfortunately for us, we're going to be without Craig Noon against Western United, which was unavoidable because you couldn't really argue that it wasn't a foul. So it just comes down to the referee's interpretation. But, I'm a bit disappointed in the result from that aspect. But, to dominate a team that was a lot more desperate than us for 60 minutes or 30 to 40, the first 20 were pretty lackluster. That gives us good confidence going into the finals.
I totally agree there. And as you said, we do play Western United next Wednesday night. So make sure you get on. Like I do with some of your friends, if you're missing your friends and want to watch it with them, jump on Zoom, jump on a call with them. Just make it and celebrate. I had one guy who was 45 seconds delayed behind us in the game. So we were celebrating. He's
no.
What's going on? So we respected him and like, just wait, you'll see and that kind of stuff. Tanya, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with what Matt said. It was pretty disappointing. Like there was a couple of times like in the second half that like you'd see like a card like thing would come up on the screen. I'd be like, but I never saw like footage of anything that happened. I think it was like good. I think it happened to him. I was like, how did he get a card? It was just like, really frustrating. But the best part is that we do get to go again. So I'm really looking forward to the next game. We've beaten Western United before. I don't see why we can't do it again.
So it'll be the third meeting between the two teams this season. So hopefully the boys can make it 3 from 3. Matt, Talking City returns again Sunday night on SEN.
So we've got a podcast that's being recorded. I think the boys have started. So there's one that's going to be coming out either tonight or tomorrow morning. Plus the SEN show will be live at 9 p.m. on 11:16 SEN. If you want to join in and have some fun and join the conversation about the Sydney game, I'm sure it's going to be a an interesting chat. I'm pretty sure Maddie's still fired up, so that'll be funny. And I think tonight's podcast will be a very good one for people, because there'll be quite a good discussion around the game. There's a few differing opinions on certain players and whether they should be necessarily a starting 11 player as well. So definitely worth tuning in for. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, all of your good, what's the word I'm looking for, podcasting apps, as well as talkingcity.online.
And guys, make sure you go give Talking City a follow on all social media, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
And Twitter, Blake.
And Twitter.
That's where we do some of our best work.
Everything, basically. And also go follow Tanya on Instagram as well, Tanya Davis.
I have Twitter too, which is also at Tanya Davis, but my Instagram has an underscore between my two names. Sorry, guys.
So, again, I want to thank Tanya Davis for coming on and helping us again tonight. Tanya, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Can't wait for the next one.
Next one, yes, I'll get into that in a second. Also, thank you to our podcast partners, Talking City producer, Matt McAdoo, mate.
Always the man, the myth, the legend.
Not a problem, guys. It's always good to be involved, especially with something as important as Citizens Giving.
So again, guys, as Matt said, in the description down below will be the link to the Citizens for Recovery. This podcast alone has raised up to $900.
Yay!
In cash so far. So again, I want to thank you guys so much. Next week we'll be live back again. We'll notify you a couple of days beforehand when we're going live, and I'm sure Tanya will as well. But we are going to have one of our young leaders on the podcast with us, helping us with us, and a surprise guest as well. So until then, on behalf of Matt McAdoo and Tanya Davis, I've been Blake Henderson. Thank you so much for watching. Go City.
Thank you. Bye.